My parents didn't miss my graduation. They chose my sister's Stanford move-in day. The text arrived at 7:14 a.m., blue glow in my dorm darkness. Can't make it today. Ashley needs help unpacking. Here's $50 for celebration dinner. We spent $185,000 on her education. You got scholarships. You understand. $50 for 4 years of engineering. By 2 p.m., I placed their ceremony programs on 2 empty seats. UC Berkeley Greek Theater, Section A, Row 3. Sunlight on vacant red cushions. Around me, 8,000 families cheered. Behind me, shadows where mine should have been. I didn't post anything. My roommate's father did those empty seats, those programs, that $185K in the caption, 2.1 million views by midnight. Dad's entire law firm saw it. Mom's country club. Then Ashley called, crying about the comments. The acceptance email arrived on a Tuesday morning in March, the kind of morning where the Bay Area fog hasn't quite decided to burn off yet. I was sitting in my childhood bedroom in San Jose, laptop balanced on knees that wouldn't stop bouncing, refreshing the UC Berkeley admissions portal for the 247th time that week. I'd been counting. 6:47 a.m. The page loaded differently. Congratulations, Elena. I read it 3 times before my brain processed the words. UC Berkeley, College of Engineering, Regents and Chancellor's Scholarship, full tuition, 4 years, $34,000 annually. The kind of scholarship they give to 200 students out of 14,000 applicants. The kind that meant I wouldn't drown in debt like every other first-generation college student I knew. I screamed. My mother's voice carried up the stairs, annoyed at being woken before 7. Elena? What's wrong? I got in. I yanked open my bedroom door, nearly tripping over the laundry basket I'd been meaning to bring downstairs for 3 days. Berkeley, with the Regents Scholarship, full ride. She appeared at the bottom of the staircase in her bathrobe, coffee mug in hand, hair still in the silk wrap she wore to bed. For a moment, just one moment, I thought I saw pride flash across her face. That's wonderful, Mija. She smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. Your father will be so pleased. I bounded down the stairs, still holding my laptop like it might evaporate if I set it down. Can you believe it? Berkeley. I'm going to Berkeley. Mm-hmm. She was already turning back toward the kitchen. Did Ashley's email come yet? The question landed like a stone in my stomach. I don't know. I haven't checked her account. Well, check. She applied to Stanford, early decision. We should hear any day now. I stood there on the 5th step from the bottom, watching my mother disappear around the corner. The smell of her French roast coffee lingered. Outside, a neighbor's dog barked. My laptop screen had gone dark. I didn't check Ashley's email. Instead, I called my best friend Maya, who screamed so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. I called my AP Calculus teacher, Mr. Reyes, who'd written one of my recommendation letters, and cried when I told him. I called my abuela in Guadalajara, who didn't fully understand what Berkeley was but said she'd light a candle for me at church anyway. I didn't call my father. He was already at the office. Corporate litigation waits for no one, not even his daughter's college acceptance. I texted him instead. Got into Berkeley with full scholarship. He responded 4 hours later. Good job. We'll talk at dinner. That evening, Ashley's acceptance email came. Stanford. Early decision. Binding commitment. $47,000 per year for undergrad, not including room and board, not including the meal plan Mom had already researched, not including the student life fee that apparently cost more than my entire senior year yearbook budget. My parents opened champagne. Not the cheap stuff from Trader Joe's that we usually got for birthdays. Real champagne, Veuve Clicquot, in the distinctive orange label. Dad pulled it from the back of the wine fridge, the one he saved for special occasions. To Ashley, he said, raising his glass in our dining room with its view of the backyard where we used to play as kids. Stanford. Our little girl is going to Stanford. Mom was already crying, the happy kind of tears that made her mascara run. She pulled Ashley into a hug that lasted 30 seconds. I counted. We're so proud of you, baby. So, so proud. I sat at my usual spot at the table, still in my clothes from school, watching them celebrate. My Berkeley acceptance letter was upstairs, still pulled up on my laptop screen. I'd printed it out, even something I never did. Because printer ink cost money, and we were always told to be frugal. Elena got into Berkeley, I said, when the champagne had been poured and the toasts had been made. Oh, yes, Mom turned to me, glass still in hand. That's wonderful, honey. With a full scholarship, I added. The Regents' scholarship. It's really competitive. That's great, Dad nodded, already turning back to Ashley. You won't have any debt. That's smart. Smart, as if I'd chosen to win a scholarship instead of receiving unconditional support. As if being financially self-sufficient at 18 was a personality trait and not a necessity. Ashley looked at me across the table. She was 3 years younger, still in her sophomore year of high school, still wearing her volleyball practice clothes. For just a second, I saw something in her expression, guilt, maybe, or awareness. But then Mom started talking about Stanford's campus tours, and the moment passed. We'll need to set up the 529 account transfers, Dad said, pulling out his phone to make a note. The tuition deposit is due by May 1st. 529 account? I asked. He didn't look up. Your mother and I opened a college savings plan for Ashley when she was born. We've been contributing monthly. The words hung in the air like smoke. When she was born, I repeated slowly, what about mine, Elena? You're 3 years older. We were in a different financial situation when you were born. Mom's voice had that edge to it, the one that said, the conversation was over. Besides, you have scholarships. You'll be fine. I wanted to ask why they hadn't started contributing when their financial situation improved. I wanted to ask how much was in Ashley's account, how many months, how many years, how much money. I wanted to ask why nobody had ever told me. Instead, I excused myself from the table. In my room, I pulled up the Berkeley Financial Aid portal and started calculating. Room and board, $18,000 per year. Books and supplies, $1,000. Personal expenses, they estimated $3,000, but I knew I could do it for less. My scholarship covered tuition. Everything else was on me. I opened another tab, Federal Student Loan Calculator. Then another, Work-Study Job Listings. Then another, Off-Campus Part-Time Jobs near UC Berkeley. By midnight, I had a plan. 15 hours per week during the semester at the campus library, 25 hours per week in the summers doing tutoring and SAT prep. Federal loans for room and board, the kind you don't have to pay back until after graduation. Rice and beans and the cheapest meal plan they offered. I could do it. I would do it. Downstairs, I heard my parents still talking, their voices carrying up through the floorboards. They were looking at Stanford sweatshirts online, debating between cardinal red and white. I shut my laptop and tried to sleep. Years later, I would remember that night as the first crack in the foundation, the moment I realized that my parents' love came with a hierarchy, and I wasn't at the top. But at the time, I told myself stories. They were excited because Ashley's acceptance was more recent. They were stressed about money. They would come around. I believed them when they said they were proud of me. I believed them when they said they'd support me. I believed them when they told me, 3 weeks before graduation, that they'd be there to watch me walk across that stage. I shouldn't have. I need to tell you about my family before I tell you about what they did. My father, Richard Vasquez, is a corporate litigation attorney at Morrison & Banks in San Francisco. He wears suits that cost more than my monthly college expenses and works 70-hour weeks defending companies in breach of contract cases. He's good at his job. Very good. Partner track, they called it, though the partnership vote kept getting delayed for reasons no one quite explained to me. My mother, Susan Vasquez, sells real estate in Silicon Valley. Starter homes that cost $2 million. Investment properties for tech executives. She's all white teeth and firm handshakes and knowledge of school districts. She drives a white BMW X5 and calls it her office. We weren't poor. That's important to understand. We were comfortable. Upper middle class in an area where upper middle class means something different than it does in the rest of the country. But my parents had a philosophy about money and children. You earn what you get. When I turned 16, 3 months and 4 days after Ashley turned 13, my birthday present was a $50 Visa gift card and a card that read, "For a responsible young woman." I used it to buy AP exam prep books. When Ashley turned 16, my parents surprised her at school with a used Honda Civic. Silver, low mileage, only 3 years old. They'd put $3,000 down and were covering her insurance. She cried in the parking lot. I stood next to her, holding my backpack, trying to remember if my parents had even asked me if I'd wanted driving lessons. They hadn't. "You had the bus," Mom said later, when I made the mistake of bringing it up. "Ashley has volleyball practice across town. It's practical." Practical. That word again. When I made National Merit Scholar semifinalist status, top 1% of test takers nationwide, my parents took me to Olive Garden. Ashley came too. We shared an appetizer. Dad paid with a coupon. When Ashley made varsity volleyball as a sophomore, Dad left work early for the first time in 6 years. They took her to Fleming's Steakhouse. Just the three of them. I had SAT tutoring that night, the job I'd taken to save money for college application fees. I came home to leftovers in the fridge with a note. "Proud of your sister. There's tiramisu." I didn't eat the tiramisu. By the time I was 17, I'd learned to stop expecting equal treatment. I'd learned that my achievements were expected: good grades, leadership positions, awards. Ashley's achievements were celebrated. The difference was subtle but absolute. I kept a mental list, the way you do when you're trying to convince yourself you're not crazy. My 15th birthday. Dinner at home, ice cream cake from Safeway, $40 in gift cards. Ashley's 15th birthday. Surprise party at that trampoline park she'd been begging to go to. 23 friends invited. Custom cake from the fancy bakery downtown. I served punch. My junior year science fair. Second place at regionals, qualified for states, won $500 in prize money. Parents didn't attend because it was during Dad's trial. Ashley's sophomore year volleyball tournament. Parents rearranged their entire weekend. Drove 4 hours to San Diego, stayed overnight at a hotel, bought her team matching warm-up jackets. The summer before senior year, I worked 40 hours a week at a daycare center, saved $2,000 for college application fees and AP exams. Came home exhausted. Mom asked if I could start making dinner since I was home anyway. Ashley's summer before sophomore year. Volleyball camp in Santa Barbara for 2 weeks, all expenses paid. She posted Instagram photos from the beach. I liked them from my phone during my lunch break, sitting in my car in the daycare center parking lot, eating a peanut butter sandwich. I told myself stories to make it make sense. They were harder on me because I was older. They were stricter because I was the first child. They expected more because I was capable of more. The truth was simpler and harder. They just loved her more. I don't know why. I've spent years trying to figure it out. Was it because she was the baby? Because she was easier, less intense, better at small talk and smiling at their friends? Because I looked like Dad's side of the family, dark hair, serious eyes, and she looked like Mom? Or was it something about me specifically? Some fundamental quality that made me less worthy of celebration? I'll never know. What I do know is this. By the time I got to Berkeley, I was used to being the scholarship daughter, the one who paid her own way, the one who worked 20 hours a week at the student library, while Ashley's Instagram showed her sororities themed mixers and Stanford's campus in golden hour light. I was used to my parents' lukewarm pride. I was used to their excuses. "We'll visit when work calms down. We can't afford 2 trips this semester. You're so independent, Elena. You don't need us like Ashley does." Freshman year, I got pneumonia. Stress and exhaustion and Berkeley's fog, my roommate said. Plus too many nights sleeping 4 hours because I had a problem set due and a shift at the library. I spent 3 days in the University Health Center, IV fluids and chest x-rays and antibiotics that made me nauseous. I called my parents from the hospital bed. "Oh, honey, that's terrible," Mom said. I could hear her car's Bluetooth in the background. "Make sure you're drinking fluids. They want to keep me overnight for observation." Well, you're in good hands. The health center there is supposed to be excellent. 3 hours away. That's how far they were. 3 hours down 101, through San Jose, into Berkeley. They didn't come. That same week, I checked Facebook later. Because I'm a glutton for punishment, they drove to Palo Alto. Stanford's parents' weekend. Ashley had been crying because she was homesick, Mom explained in the photo caption. They'd surprised her with a visit, taken her to brunch, bought her groceries for her dorm. I stared at the photos on my phone, still hooked up to an IV. Sophomore year, I made Dean's List. 4 gigapascals in engineering, 21 units, plus my library job. I emailed them the congratulations letter from the dean. Dad responded, "Nice work, keep it up." That was it. That same semester, Ashley's sorority won some kind of philanthropy award. Mom posted about it 17 times on Facebook. 17. I counted. She'd never posted about my Dean's List. Junior year, I couldn't afford to come home for Thanksgiving. The bus ticket cost $90, and I needed that money for textbooks. I spent the holiday in my apartment eating ramen and studying for finals. Ashley posted photos of our family's Thanksgiving table. The turkey looked perfect. Everyone was smiling. My seat was occupied by one of Mom's friends from book club. No one had mentioned I wasn't coming. No one had offered to buy my bus ticket. No one seemed to notice I was missing. Senior year, everything came to a head. I was drowning. 400 level engineering courses, senior thesis, job applications, and 25 hours a week at work because I'd taken on extra shifts to save money. I was exhausted down to my bones. My roommate, Jennifer, kept asking if I was okay. I kept lying and saying yes. In March, I asked my parents for help. Not a lot, $300 to cover textbooks for my final semester. My federal loan had maxed out, and my library paycheck was already stretched thin. "Elena, we can't keep subsidizing your choices," Dad said over the phone. I was walking to the library for my evening shift, backpack heavy with books I couldn't afford to replace. "You chose Berkeley knowing you'd need to take loans. That's part of being an adult." 2 weeks later, Mom posted on Facebook about the $8,000 they'd spent to fix Ashley's car after she rear-ended someone in Palo Alto. "Just grateful our baby girl is safe," the caption read. Red heart emoji. Praying hands emoji. $8,000. I unfollowed them both. But I didn't unfriend them. Because I still believed God. I was so stupid, I still believed they'd come to my graduation. They'd promised. Dad had marked it in his calendar. Mom had requested the day off. Ashley was supposed to drive up from Stanford. A family affair, they'd called it. Finally, a chance to celebrate Elena properly. I believed them. I designed my own graduation announcements because the official ones cost money. I sent them with handwritten notes. I ordered the tickets 2 months early, Section A, Row 3, seats 14 and 15. The best seats I could get. I put their names on them. 3 weeks before graduation, Mom texted, "What time should we arrive? Want to take you to brunch before the ceremony." I let myself hope. I let myself imagine them in those seats, watching me walk across the stage in my blue and gold cords, summa cum laude, 4 years of hell finally worth it because they'd be there to see it. I was so stupid. Graduation morning, I woke up at 6:30 a.m. without an alarm. My stomach was acid and anticipation. I'd laid out my outfit the night before, navy blue dress from Target, modest and professional, the kind of dress that said I'd made it despite everything. My cap and gown hung on my closet door, pressed and perfect. My summa cum laude cords were draped over my desk chair, gold against blue. 4 years of work, condensed into fabric and rope. I made coffee in the French press Jennifer had given me as a graduation gift. My hands shook so badly I spilled grounds on the counter. Outside, Berkeley was waking up, delivery trucks rumbling down Telegraph. Early morning joggers on the sidewalk. Someone's car alarm chirping twice. It was going to be a perfect day. 72 degrees, the weather app promised. Clear skies. No fog. I showered. Did my makeup carefully, the way Maya had taught me, eyeliner that made my eyes look bigger, mascara, blush to combat the fact that I'd barely slept. I looked at myself in the mirror and tried to see what my parents would see. Accomplished. Adult. Worth the drive. 7:14 a.m. My phone lit up. Text message from Mom. My heart jumped. Probably asking where to park, I thought. Or whether they should bring flowers. Can't make it today. Ashley needs help unpacking. Here's $50 for celebration dinner. We spent $185,000 on her education. You got scholarships. You understand. I read it once. Twice. 3 times. The words didn't change. A Venmo notification followed. $50 from Susan Vasquez. The note said, "Congrats, grad." I sat down on my bed. My dress wrinkled. I didn't care. Ashley was moving into Stanford's graduate student housing. Today. The same day as my graduation. The graduation they'd known about for 8 weeks. The graduation that was on the calendar, confirmed, promised, they'd chosen. I called my mother. It rang 4 times and went to voicemail. I called my father. Straight to voicemail, the professional recording he used for clients. You've reached Richard Vasquez at Morrison and Banks. Please leave a detailed message. I didn't leave a message. I texted instead, my fingers clumsy on the screen. This is my graduation. You promised. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Dad's response came through. We'll celebrate when you visit next. This is important for Ashley's transition. Ashley's transition. Stanford's graduate program in education. 2 years, fully funded by our parents. $92,000 they'd mentioned casually over Christmas dinner. Not including her apartment, her car insurance, her grocery budget. And I was supposed to understand. I was supposed to celebrate on $50. I sat there on my bed in my Target dress, makeup done, coffee getting cold on my desk, and I felt something crack open inside my chest. Not heartbreak. I'd been heartbroken before. This was different. This was the death of hope. Jennifer knocked on my door. Elena? We need to leave in 20 minutes. Okay, I said. My voice sounded normal. I don't know how. I stood up, smoothed my dress, put on my heels, the only pair I owned, black and practical. Grabbed my cap and gown. In the mirror, I looked like someone graduating college. No one would know that inside I was falling apart. The ceremony was at UC Berkeley's Greek Theater, that beautiful outdoor amphitheater built into the hillside. It holds 8,500 people. The College of Engineering had reserved the entire venue, 653 graduates, plus families. Thousands of families. We arrived at 1:30 p.m. The ceremony started at 2. Section A, row 3. Was easy to find. I'd studied the seating chart obsessively. Seats 14 and 15 were 3rd and 4th from the aisle, perfect for photos, perfect for a quick exit if needed, perfect for my parents to see everything. I placed their programs on the seats. Glossy paper with the university seal, order of ceremonies, names of all 653 graduates in tiny print. I'd found mine on page 17. Elena Marie Vasquez, Bachelor of Science in Engineering, summa cum laude. The program sat there on red cushions. Empty. Around me, families were arriving. Mothers in summer dresses taking photos with their phones. Fathers in polo shirts adjusting cameras with complicated lenses. Siblings holding balloons. Grandparents moving slowly up the amphitheater steps, hands on railings, smiling. Jennifer's parents arrived, her whole family, mom, dad, 2 younger brothers, grandmother. Her mom hugged me. We're so proud of you, Elena. We'll take pictures for you, okay? I nodded. I didn't trust myself to speak. More families flooded in. The amphitheater filled. The air smelled like sunscreen and perfume and roses. So many roses, dozens of bouquets in every color. The sun was warm on the stone seats. Music played through the speakers, something classical and hopeful. 1:45 p.m. I checked my phone. No messages. 1:52 p.m. The processional music started. We lined up by major, then alphabetically within each department. I was between Vargas and Velasquez, two people I barely knew but who felt like family in that moment because they were there and my real family wasn't. We walked in. The crowd stood. 8,000 people on their feet, applauding, cameras flashing like stars. I scanned Section A as I walked. Row 3, seats 14 and 15. The programs were still there. Still alone. I took my seat in the graduates section. From here I couldn't see the empty chairs, but I knew they were there, like missing teeth, like ghosts. The ceremony began. The dean spoke about achievement and perseverance. A student representative gave a speech about overcoming obstacles. Everyone laughed at the right moments. I sat there in my blue and gold cords and felt nothing. They called names by department. Engineering took 40 minutes. We were the biggest college. Every name got applause. Some got screaming families, air horns, someone's dad yelling, "That's my baby." When they called Elena Marie Vasquez, I walked across that stage. Jennifer's family cheered. They'd promised they would. I heard them from Section E. I looked at Section A. Row 3. Seats 14 and 15. The programs hadn't moved. I accepted my diploma cover. The real diploma would come in the mail, they'd told us. I shook the dean's hand. I smiled for the professional photographer. I walked off the stage. I didn't cry. Not yet. The ceremony ended at 4:15 p.m. 2 hours and 15 minutes of speeches and names and celebration. The recessional music played. We filed out. Families swarmed the exits, everyone trying to find their graduate, everyone hugging and crying and taking photos. Jennifer's family found me first. Her mom hugged me again, longer this time. Her dad shook my hand and said, "Your parents don't know what they're missing." That's when I started crying. Not sobbing, just quiet tears that wouldn't stop. Running mascara I couldn't wipe away fast enough. Jennifer's grandmother gave me a tissue. Her little brother looked uncomfortable. Her mom suggested we take photos anyway. We did. I smiled. My cords hung crooked. The photos would later show that my eyes were red and my smile didn't reach past my mouth. At 5 p.m., I walked back to the now empty Greek theater. Most families had left. A few stragglers remained, taking final photos, gathering forgotten jackets and water bottles. Section A, Row 3, seats 14 and 15. The programs were still there, exactly where I'd placed them 3.5 hours ago, slightly warm from the sun. The pages ruffled once in the breeze. I picked them up, folded them, put them in my bag. I walked back down to the stage level, my heels clicking on stone. The amphitheater was built into a hillside, open to the sky, surrounded by eucalyptus trees. It was beautiful. The kind of place you'd want your family to see you graduate. I took out my phone and opened Venmo. There was the $50 from my mother. The notification said I'd received it at 7:14 a.m., right before her text. Below that was another notification from earlier that morning, one I'd missed in my shock. $4,200 from Richard Vasquez to Stanford Housing Services. The note said, "Ashley move-in deposit plus first month. $4,200. Sent at 6:55 a.m. 19 minutes before my mother told me they couldn't come. I took a screenshot. I don't know why. Instinct, maybe. Or evidence. I walked to my car, a 12-year-old Toyota Corolla I'd bought junior year with money from summer tutoring. It was parked 6 blocks away because I couldn't afford the campus garage. My feet hurt. My dress had a stain on the hem from brushing against something. My cap was crooked. I sat in my car and opened my texts. Nothing from my parents. Nothing from Ashley. But there was a message from Maya. "You did it. Send pics." And one from Aunt Teresa, my dad's sister, who I barely saw anymore. Congratulations, Mija. I'm sorry I couldn't be there. So proud of you. And one from Mr. Reyes, my high school calculus teacher. Knew you'd make it. Hope your parents are bursting with pride. I looked at that last message for a long time, then I turned off my phone. I drove back to my apartment. It took 15 minutes because of graduation traffic. I parked in my assigned spot. I walked up 3 flights of stairs. I unlocked my door. Jennifer was already there with her family, cleaning up from the small celebration we'd planned, cheap champagne and grocery store cake. They'd waited for me. Elena! Jennifer's mom started toward me. I need a minute, I said. I went to my room, closed the door, sat on my bed still wearing my graduation dress and my crooked cords and my uncomfortable heels. And I finally let myself admit the truth. My parents hadn't forgotten. They hadn't gotten confused about the date. They hadn't had an emergency. They had chosen, deliberately, consciously. They had looked at their calendar and seen both events, and decided that Ashley's move-in day mattered more than my graduation. They had sent me $50 and expected me to understand. And you know what? I did understand. I understood that I would never be Ashley. I understood that no amount of achievement would make them proud enough to choose me. I understood that I'd spent 4 years working myself into exhaustion for a moment they couldn't be bothered to witness. I understood everything, and that understanding was going to change everything. I didn't sleep graduation night. Jennifer's family left around 9. Her mom hugged me twice at the door. Her dad pressed a $50 gift card into my hand. Safeway, practical. The kind of gift that acknowledged I was broke without saying it. After they left, Jennifer made tea neither of us drank, and sat with me on the couch until midnight, not talking, just being there. At 12:47 a.m., she finally went to bed. I stayed up. My laptop sat open on the coffee table, graduation photos from other people's Instagrams filling my feed. Everyone smiling with their families, everyone's parents crying proud tears, everyone's siblings holding balloons. I closed Instagram. Opened Venmo instead. I don't know why. Maybe because that $50 payment kept burning in my mind. Maybe because I wanted to see exactly what my parents thought my graduation was worth. Maybe because I couldn't stop replaying that screenshot from this morning, $4,200 to Stanford housing, 19 minutes before Mom's text. I pulled up my parents' Venmo profiles. They were both public. Not private, not friends, only fully public. Mom posted every transaction with little emojis and cheerful notes. Dad was more minimal, just payment descriptions and amounts. I started scrolling. April 28th. Mom to Ashley V. $847. Note. Sorority dues, baby girl. April 15th. Dad to Stanford bookstore. $423. Note. Textbooks, grad program. April 3rd. Mom to Ashley V. $1,200. Note. Furniture shopping. So proud. March 30th. Dad to Palo Alto Modern Furnishings. $6,300. Note. Graduate apartment setup. I kept scrolling. March 15th. Mom to Ashley V. $500. Note. Grocery money, sweetie. March 1st. Dad to Stanford Financial Services. $46,500. Note. Tuition. Spring quarter grad. Year 1. February 22nd. Mom to Ashley V. $350. Note. Car insurance, my baby. The list went on. And on. I grabbed a notebook, the cheap spiral-bound kind from CVS that I used for grocery lists. Started writing down every payment to or for Ashley. Date, amount, description. By 2 a.m., I'd cataloged 47 transactions. By 3:30 a.m., I'd gone back 18 months. The total kept climbing. $8,400 for sorority expenses across multiple payments, $12,000 for a study abroad deposit she'd never mentioned, $6,300 for apartment furniture, weekly payments of $300 to $500 for spending money, groceries, fun money, sweetie. Then there were the big ones, tuition payments to Stanford, each one $45,000 to $47,000, twice a year. I did the math 3 times because I couldn't believe it. $197,000. $197,000 in 18 months. That was just what I could see on Venmo. That didn't include whatever they paid directly from their bank accounts. That didn't include the $529 college fund I'd learned about at my Berkeley acceptance dinner, the one they'd been contributing to since Ashley was born. My hands were shaking. I set down my pen, picked up my phone, opened my text messages with my parents. The last message from Mom. Can't make it today. Ashley needs help unpacking. Here's $50 for celebration dinner. We spent $185,000 on her education. You got scholarships. You understand. We spent $185,000 on her education. They'd said it like a justification, like proof they'd already given enough, like I should be grateful they'd spent money on my sister instead of me. But they hadn't spent $185,000. They'd spent at least $197,000. Probably more like $240,000 if I counted the $529 fund. The housing deposits, the insurance, the car, and they'd given me $50. I opened my laptop camera and looked at my reflection in the black screen. My graduation makeup was smeared. My eyes were hollow. I looked like someone who'd been gutted and was still trying to figure out where the wound was. Why? I said out loud to no one. The apartment was silent except for Jennifer's fan running in her bedroom. I went back to Venmo, started a new page in my notebook. This time I listed every payment I'd ever received from my parents during my 4 years at Berkeley. September 2019, $50 freshman year, birthday. December 2019, $40, chrisms. March 2020, $25 birthday, pandemic, they'd texted. September 2020, $50. December 2020, $60, chrisms. March 2021, $25, birthday. September 2021, $50 junior year birthday. November 2021, $0. I'd asked for $300 for textbooks. Was denied. December 2021, $75. March 2022, $25 birthday. September 2022, $50 senior year birthday. December 2022, $100. Christmas, big gift this year, Mom had written. Today, $50, graduation. Total, $600. $600 across 4 years. While Ashley got $197,000 in 18 months. The ratio made me nauseous. I calculated it anyway. Ashley got 328 times more money than I did. 328. I screamed into a couch pillow so I wouldn't wake Jennifer. When I stopped, my throat was raw and my face was wet and the notebook page was crumpled where I'd gripped it too hard. The numbers were still there, patient and unmoving. Evidence. That word crystallized in my mind. This wasn't just hurt feelings. This wasn't me being too sensitive or ungrateful or dramatic, all things Mom had called me at various points growing up. This was evidence. Of what? I wasn't sure yet. Favoritism, definitely. Financial discrimination, maybe. Emotional abuse, probably. Though that felt too dramatic to say out loud. But it was evidence. I took screenshots of every single Venmo transaction, saved them in a folder on my laptop labeled graduation expenses in case my parents somehow saw my file names, backed them up to my Google Drive. At 4:47 a.m., the sky outside started turning gray. I'd been awake for 22 hours. I went to bed still wearing my graduation dress, my notebook open on the nightstand, filled with numbers that proved what I'd always known but could never prove before. They'd chosen her. Over and over and over. And they'd spent $250,000 doing it. 3 days later, I went home to San Jose. I didn't want to. But I'd left some boxes in my childhood bedroom, high school yearbooks, old textbooks I might need for grad school applications, my winter coat. Mom had been texting me to come get them. Turning your room into a home office, she'd written. Like that was a normal thing to tell your daughter 3 days after missing her college graduation. I borrowed Jennifer's car. My Corolla was making a grinding noise I couldn't afford to fix yet. The drive down 101 took 90 minutes. I'd made it hundreds of times. This time felt different. This time I was angry. Mom's white BMW was in the driveway. Dad's Tesla was gone. Work, probably. Like always. I let myself in with my key. The house smelled like the candle Mom always burned. Something vanilla and expensive. Everything looked exactly the same. Family photos on the wall, most of them featuring Ashley. The living room furniture I'd helped pick out when I was 12. The kitchen island where we'd eaten breakfast 10,000 times. It looked like home. It didn't feel like it anymore. Elena? Mom appeared from the kitchen, dish towel in hand. She smiled. Actually smiled. I'm so glad you came. Want some lunch? I made chicken salad. I'm just here for my boxes. Her smile faltered. Honey, don't be like that. We can still celebrate your graduation. Maybe this weekend we can do dinner? You missed it. I know. And I'm sorry. But Ashley needed you more than I did. I understand. My voice was flat. Where are the boxes? She studied my face. For a second I thought she might actually acknowledge what she'd done. Apologize, for real. Recognize that she'd shattered something. Instead, they're in your room. I'll help you carry them. I've got it. I climbed the stairs to my childhood bedroom. The door was open. Half my stuff was already gone, my desk cleared, my bookshelf empty, my walls bare where posters used to hang. 3 cardboard boxes sat in the corner, my life packed away. I started carrying them downstairs. Mom hovered. On my second trip, I needed to pee. The bathroom was down the hall from my parents' bedroom. Their door was open. I could see Dad's side of the bed, perfectly made. Mom's nightstand with her reading glasses. And on Dad's dresser, papers. I don't know what made me look closer. Maybe the fact that I recognized the Fidelity logo from my own student loan statements? Maybe the fact that I'd spent 3 days thinking about nothing but money and fairness and evidence? I glanced down the stairs. Mom was in the kitchen, phone to her ear, laughing about something. I walked into my parents' bedroom. The papers were statements, monthly account summaries. I lifted the first one. Fidelity Investments, 529 College Savings Plan. Account holder: Richard and Susan Vasquez. Beneficiary: Ashley Marie Vasquez. Current balance: $185,442.76. I stopped breathing. The next page showed contribution history. Monthly deposits going back 15 years. Some months it was $800, some months $1,200. Every single month, like clockwork, since Ashley was born. I flipped to the next statement. This one was older, from 3 months ago. Previous balance: $191,043. Recent withdrawal: $5,600. Stanford housing deposit. New balance: $185,442.76. My stomach dropped. I kept flipping. Every statement showed the same thing. Deposits, deposits, deposits. Then withdrawals for Ashley's expenses. Sorority housing. Study abroad program. New laptop. Furniture for her dorm. 15 years of saving. Nearly $200,000. All for Ashley. I looked at the dresser again. There was another folder underneath. I pulled it out. Fidelity Investments, 529 College Savings Plan. Account holder: Richard and Susan Vasquez. Beneficiary: Elena Marie Vasquez. My hands started shaking before I even opened it. Current balance: $0. Account status: closed. Closure date: the 15th of October 2018. Final distribution: $0. Reason for closure: transfer to alternate beneficiary. I had to read it 4 times. They'd had a college fund for me. They'd closed it my senior year of high school. They'd transferred it to... I flipped the page, found the transfer documentation. Full account balance transferred to account number 5294472VASQUEZASHLEY per account holder request. Transfer amount: $43,200.16. Transfer date: the 15th of October 2018. The 15th of October 2018. 2 weeks before my Berkeley early action application was due. 6 months before I'd find out about my scholarship. A month after Ashley had told us she wanted to apply to Stanford. Early decision. They'd taken my college fund $43,000 they'd saved for me and given it to Ashley. They'd never told me. They'd let me take out loans. They'd watched me work 20-hour weeks. They'd told me they couldn't afford to help with textbooks and rent and food. And the entire time, they'd taken my money and spent it on her. I stood in my parents' bedroom holding proof of the cruelest thing they'd ever done. And I understood something new. This wasn't favoritism. This was theft. Elena! Mom's voice floated up the stairs. You okay up there? I looked at the statements in my hands. Then I pulled out my phone. And I photographed every single page. I didn't confront my mother. Not then. Not standing in their bedroom with evidence in my hands and rage in my throat. I wanted to. God, I wanted to scream at her about the $43,000 they'd stolen. About the 15 years of deposits for Ashley. About the careful, deliberate way they'd erased me from their financial future. But something stopped me. Maybe it was the part of my brain that was still analytical after 4 years of engineering problem sets. The part that knew you don't reveal your evidence before you understand its full scope. The part that wanted to know exactly how deep this went before I let them know I'd found out. So I took my photos, put the statements back exactly how I'd found them, walked out of their bedroom, carried my last box downstairs. All set? Mom asked, still smiling that pleasant smile that made me want to break something. Yeah. Drive safe, honey. Text when you get home. I didn't text. I drove back to Berkeley doing 75 in a 65 zone, hands tight on Jennifer's steering wheel, brain spinning like a hard drive about to crash. When I got back to the apartment, Jennifer took one look at my face and said, "What happened?" I showed her the photos. We sat at our kitchen table, the wobbly one we'd bought from IKEA sophomore year, assembled wrong and never fixed, and I watched her scroll through statement after statement. "Holy shit," she kept saying. "They had a fund for me." "I know." "They closed it. They gave it to her." "I know." "They took my money." "I know." Jennifer looked up, her face pale. "This is Elena. This isn't just favoritism. This is financial abuse." That word again. Abuse. I'd been dancing around it for days, but hearing Jennifer say it out loud made it real. "It's not abuse," I said automatically. "They didn't hit me. They fed me." "They stole $43,000 from your college fund and gave it to your sister while you took out loans." Jennifer's voice was sharp. "They lied to you for 4 years. They missed your graduation. They told you to understand." She pushed my phone back across the table. "That's abuse, Elena. That's financial and emotional abuse." I stared at the phone, at the photos of the statements, at the proof. "I need to know how much," I said quietly. "How much what?" "How much money. Total. Everything they spent on her versus what they spent on me." I pulled my notebook out of my bag, the one I'd filled with Venmo transactions at 3 a.m. I have 18 months of data. But I need 4 years. I need everything. Jennifer nodded slowly. Okay. How do we get it? Bank statements, credit card bills, tax returns if I can find them. I was already making a list. The 529 account showed monthly contributions. If I can find out when they started, I can calculate total deposits. You're building a case. I'm finding the truth. We worked for 6 hours. Jennifer made coffee and ordered pizza we couldn't afford. I went through every photo I'd ever taken at my parents' house, looking for financial documents in the background. I logged into my old family shared calendar and scrolled back 4 years, cross-referencing every date they'd canceled plans with me against Ashley's social media to see what they'd done instead. The timeline that emerged was devastating. September 2018, my senior year of high school. Ashley's freshman year. Elena asked parents to attend National Merit Scholar Recognition Ceremony. They said they had a work conflict. Ashley. Instagram showed mom and dad at her high school's back-to-school night the same evening. October 2018, transfer date of my 529 fund to Ashley's account. Elena submitted Berkeley early action application. Asked parents if they had any college savings to contribute. Dad's response via text. You'll need to look at loans. We don't have extra right now. Ashley submitted Stanford early decision application. Parents paid $90 application fee immediately, per mom's Facebook post. November 2018. The month I'd worked 35 hours a week at a coffee shop to save for college application fees. Elena applied to 12 schools, paid all fees myself. $960 total. Ashley applied to Stanford only. Mom posted about trusting God's plan for our baby girl. December 2018, Ashley got into Stanford. Elena got into Berkeley with full scholarship. Parents opened champagne for Ashley, gave me congratulations and 5 minutes of attention before returning to Ashley's celebration. Financial evidence. First tuition deposit to Stanford, $4,500, paid December 18th from joint account, per a photo I found of mom's phone screen in a Christmas morning picture. March 2019, my birthday. Elena turned 18. Received $50 Visa gift card. Ashley. Parents threw her a surprise Sweet 16 party 2 weeks later. Cost estimated at $3,000 based on venue rental prices, I looked up. August 2019. College move-in. Elena. Moved into Berkeley dorm myself. Parents couldn't get time off work. I took the bus with 2 suitcases. Ashley. Parents took a week off. Drove her to Stanford. Stayed in Palo Alto for 3 days. Mom posted 47 photos. The pattern continued, month after month, year after year. Every time I needed something, denied, delayed, or given the minimum. Every time Ashley wanted something, granted, celebrated, and posted on social media. Freshman year. September 2019. I got pneumonia, hospitalized for 3 days. Parents didn't visit. Same week they drove to Stanford for Ashley's parents' weekend. October 2019. I asked for $200 to replace my broken laptop charger. Told to use the library computers. Later discovered they'd sent Ashley $800 for school supplies. December 2019. I worked through winter break to afford textbooks. Ashley posted about the family's Lake Tahoe vacation. They didn't invite me. Didn't think you'd want to miss work, Mom texted. Sophomore year. February 2020. Pandemic hit. My campus job cut hours. I asked for help with rent. Denied. Discovered later they'd sent Ashley $1,200 for pandemic supplies. Thanksgiving 2020. Couldn't afford bus ticket home. Spent holiday alone. They never offered to pay for my ticket. Ashley was there. I saw the photos. Junior year. March 2021. My birthday. I turned 21. They sent $25 Venmo. No call. Same month. Ashley's 18th birthday. They threw a party. Rented a restaurant. Invited 40 people. I wasn't invited. We thought you had midterms, Mom said later. September 2021. Asked for $300 for textbooks. Denied. We can't keep subsidizing your choices, Elena. 2 weeks later, Mom posted about the $8,000 they'd spent fixing Ashley's car after she rear-ended someone. Senior year, December 2022. Worked 30 hours a week during finals. Barely slept, called home crying. Mom said, "You're so strong. You'll get through it." Same month, Ashley complained about stress on Instagram. Parents drove to Palo Alto that weekend to take care of our girl. Took her to a spa. Cost estimated at $600 based on the spa's website prices. March 2023. Graduation invitations sent certified mail. Parents confirmed attendance via text. I believed them. May 2023. Graduation day. They chose Ashley's move-in instead. By the time I finished the timeline, it was 11 p.m. Jennifer had fallen asleep on the couch. I sat at our kitchen table surrounded by printouts and notes and photos and proof of 4 years of systematic neglect disguised as tough love. No, not neglect. Theft. Because while I was drowning in $47,000 of student loan debt, they'd taken $43,200 of my college fund and given it to Ashley. While I was working myself into exhaustion, they were depositing $1,200 every month into her 529 account. While I was asking for $300 for textbooks, they were sending her $6,300 for apartment furniture. The grand total, as best as I could calculate. Spent on Ashley, 4 years, approximately $240,000. $185,000 in tuition, Stanford undergrad. $43,200 from my transferred 529 fund. $12,000 plus in monthly allowance payments via Venmo. Spent on Elena, 4 years, $600. The ratio was 400 to 1. $400 for her to every $1 for me. I looked at the numbers until they blurred. Then I opened my laptop and started a new document. Evidence, I titled it. And I began organizing everything I'd found into a timeline that would be impossible to deny. Because I was done understanding. I was done being the strong one. I was done being the scholarship daughter who paid her own way while they spent $250,000 on my sister and told me they couldn't afford to help. I didn't know what I was going to do with this evidence yet. But I knew I wasn't going to stay silent anymore. I called Maya 3 days after finding the 529 statements. Cafe Strada, she said. Thursday afternoon. I'm buying. You don't have to. Elena, I'm buying. Thursday came. I hadn't slept more than 4 hours any night that week. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those account statements. Account status, closed. Transfer amount, $43,200.16. Beneficiary changed from Elena to Ashley. Cafe Strada was packed with Berkeley students celebrating the end of finals. The air smelled like espresso and the kind of optimism I'd forgotten how to feel. Maya had claimed a corner table, 2 iced lattes already waiting. She took one look at my face and said, "Jesus, Elena." I know. When's the last time you ate? I couldn't remember. Yesterday? She pushed a croissant across the table. Eat, then talk. I ate. Or tried to. My stomach was acid and exhaustion. But Maya watched me until I'd finished half. So I finished half. Then I pulled out my folder. I'd organized everything. Bank statement photos, Venmo screenshots, the timeline of 4 years of betrayals, the 529 account closure documents, all of it tabbed and highlighted and annotated. Maya read in silence. I watched her face change, confusion first, then shock, then something that looked like rage. "Holy shit," she said finally. "Yeah. Elena, they stole from you." "I know. No, I mean..." She looked up, her dark eyes fierce. They literally stole $43,000 that was legally designated for you and gave it to Ashley. That's not favoritism, that's theft. I'd been thinking the same thing for 3 days, but hearing Maya say it out loud made it real in a way my own thoughts hadn't. I don't think it's technically theft, I said. They're the account holders. They can designate whoever. Bullshit. Maya flipped back to the account statements. Look at this. Beneficiary. Elena Marie Vasquez. They saved this money for you. For 18 years. Then they took it. 17 years. I was 17 when they transferred it. Even worse. You were a minor. You had no say. She kept reading, her jaw getting tighter. And then, they lied to you. For 4 years. Watched you take out loans. Told you they couldn't afford to help. While they had your money. Your money, Elena. My throat closed. I took a sip of latte I didn't want. Maya turned to the timeline. Read about the pneumonia hospitalization they'd skipped. The textbook request they'd denied. The graduation they'd missed. When she finished, she set the folder down carefully, like it might explode. What are you going to do? She asked. I don't know. Bullshit. You organized 40 pages of evidence, you know. She was right. I did know. I just hadn't said it out loud yet. I want them to admit what they did, I said quietly. I want everyone who's ever told me I'm too sensitive or ungrateful to see the proof. I want Ashley to know she got my college fund. My voice cracked. I want them to hurt the way they hurt me. Maya reached across the table and took my hand. Okay, she said. Then let's make that happen. How? My boyfriend, Jake. He's a paralegal at an employment law firm in San Francisco. He can't give you legal advice, he's not a lawyer, but he can point you towards someone who can. She was already texting. If there's a legal case here, you need to know. If there's not, you need to know that too. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is Jake, Maya's BF. Free for coffee tomorrow? I know someone you should talk to. I stared at the text. This was real. This was happening. I was actually considering taking legal action against my parents. Elena, Maya squeezed my hand. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, but you deserve to know your options. What if I'm overreacting? The question I'd been asking myself for a week. What if this is just, I don't know, normal family stuff, and I'm being dramatic? Maya picked up the folder again. Opened it to the photo of the 529 transfer. Does this look normal to you? It didn't. Does $43,000 stolen from your college fund look like normal family conflict? It didn't. Does $240,000 for her and $600 for you look like equal parenting? It didn't. Then you're not overreacting. Maya's voice was gentle but firm. You're finally reacting appropriately. I started crying, not sobbing, just quiet tears that I couldn't stop, running down my face onto the cafe table. Maya moved her chair around and hugged me. I cried into her shoulder while Berkeley students laughed at nearby tables and the espresso machine hissed, and life went on like my world wasn't ending. I just wanted them to be proud of me, I whispered. I know. I worked so hard. I know. And it was never enough. I know, babe, I know. When I finally stopped crying, my latte was watered down, and my croissant was cold, and Maya's shirt was wet. Sorry, I said. Don't. We're past sorry. She pulled up Jake's text again. Coffee tomorrow. My treat again. You're going to talk to his contact. You're going to find out if you have a case. And then you're going to decide what you want to do. Okay? I nodded. Say it. Okay. Say it like you mean it. Okay. Stronger this time. Maya smiled. It was the first time I'd smiled in a week. Good. Because your parents fucked with the wrong scholarship, daughter. The lawyer's office was on the 18th floor of a glass building in San Francisco's financial district. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the bay. Furniture that cost more than my entire college wardrobe. Diplomas on the wall. Stanford undergrad. Stanford law. about a dozen bar admissions. Of course, it was Stanford. Attorney Patricia Chen was 50-something, sharp-eyed, wearing a suit that probably cost what I made in a month at the library. Jake had described her as brilliant and terrifying in equal measure. He wasn't wrong. Miss Vasquez. She shook my hand with the grip of someone who'd spent 30 years negotiating settlements. Jake speaks highly of you. Please, sit. I sat. Tried not to fidget. Failed. She opened the folder I'd brought, the same one I'd shown Maya, now with additional documentation Jake had helped me organize. She read for 7 minutes without speaking. I counted. Finally, tell me what you want. Not what happened. Not how I felt. What I wanted. I want them to pay back what they stole, I said. The $43,000 from my college fund. The interest I've paid on my loans that I wouldn't have needed if they hadn't taken my money. What else? I want them to admit what they did. Publicly. So every person who's ever told me I'm too sensitive can see the proof. What else? I hadn't expected a third question. I thought about it. I want them to know they can't do this to people, that there are consequences. Attorney Chen nodded. Close the folder. Here's what I can tell you, she said. What your parents did is morally reprehensible. It's the clearest case of financial favoritism and emotional manipulation I've seen in 20 years of family law. My heart jumped. However, the word landed like a stone. It's not illegal. Oh. 529 accounts are controlled by the account holder, your parents, not the beneficiary. They have absolute discretion to change beneficiaries, withdraw funds, or close the account. What they did was legal. She paused. That doesn't mean you have no case. I leaned forward. There are several potential claims you could pursue. First, intentional infliction of emotional distress. This is a civil claim that requires proving your parents engaged in extreme and outrageous conduct that caused you severe emotional distress. Missing my graduation after promising to come? That helps, but you'd need more. A pattern of behavior, medical evidence of distress therapy records, doctor visits, documentation of impact on your mental health. I thought about the pneumonia hospitalization, the anxiety attacks during finals, the 3 times I'd gone to Berkeley's counseling center and been put on a wait list. I have some of that. Good. Second option, unjust enrichment. This is harder to prove, but the argument would be that Ashley was unjustly enriched by funds that were designated for you, and she should have to pay restitution. Would that work? Maybe. It depends on whether we can prove Ashley knew the funds were originally yours and accepted them anyway. Attorney Chen pulled out a legal pad. Third option. And this is the nuclear one. You could file for financial elder abuse in reverse. What does that mean? Financial elder abuse typically involves someone exploiting a vulnerable elderly person. But the statute in California can sometimes be applied to situations where a parent exploits a dependent child's assets. You were 17 when they transferred the 529 funds. Legally still a minor. Financially dependent on them. Would that actually work? It's never been successfully argued in California appellate court for this specific scenario. You'd be setting precedent. She looked at me over her glasses, which means it would be expensive, time-consuming, and uncertain. My stomach sank. How expensive? Litigation like this would run $15,000 to $25,000 in legal fees, minimum. Could go higher if it's contested, and it would take 8 to 14 months. I did the math. I had $1,200 in my bank account, $47,000 in student loan debt, a job offer starting in July that paid $72,000 a year, good money, but not sue your parents' money. Attorney Chen watched me calculate. There's another option, she said. Demand letter. What's that? I write a letter on firm letterhead outlining your claims, the evidence, and the potential legal consequences if they don't settle. I demand specific remedies in your case, repayment of the 529 funds plus interest, plus reimbursement of loan interest you've accrued. Most people settle when they receive a demand letter from an attorney. How much does that cost? $1,500 for the letter. Another 1,000 if we need to negotiate. Still more than I had, but achievable. I could pick up extra shifts, sell my textbooks, ask Maya for a loan. What if they don't settle? Then you'd need to decide if you want to pursue litigation. But honestly, Attorney Chen leaned back. Based on this evidence, I think they'll settle. This is devastating, Miss Vasquez. If this became public and demand letters have a way of becoming public, your father's law firm would have questions. Your mother's real estate business would suffer. They'll want this to go away quietly. The way she said it made something click in my brain. They'd want this to go away quietly. But I didn't want it to go away quietly. I wanted everyone to know. What if I don't want quiet? I asked. Attorney Chen smiled. It was not a nice smile. Then you have other options, but they don't involve me. She slid a business card across the desk. This is my colleague who specializes in public exposure cases, defamation, truth as a defense, that sort of thing. If you want to go loud, talk to her. I took the card, stared at it. Can I ask you something? I said. Of course. Do you think I'm being vindictive? Like, is this just revenge? Attorney Chen looked at me for a long moment. Miss Vasquez, I've been practicing law for 26 years. I've seen a lot of family disputes. And I can tell you this. What your parents did to you isn't just favoritism. It's systematic financial and emotional abuse disguised as parenting. She tapped the folder. You documented it because you needed proof. You came here because you needed validation. Let me give you both. You're right. They were wrong. And if you choose to pursue this legally, you'd be well within your rights. Something in my chest loosened. Validation. From a Stanford-educated lawyer who'd seen everything. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't ungrateful. I wasn't too sensitive. I was right. Thank you, I said. Don't thank me yet. Think about what you want, really want. Then call me. She stood. And Miss Vasquez? Whatever you decide, make sure it's for you. Not for revenge. Not to hurt them. For you. I left her office with 2 business cards and more questions than answers. But for the first time in 2 weeks, I felt like I had options. And options felt like power. I spent the next 4 weeks building my case like it was a final engineering project. Because that's what it was, really. A problem that needed solving. Variables to account for. Evidence to organize. A strategy to design. I started with the medical records. Berkeley's health center took 3 days to send me my file. 47 pages documenting 4 years of stress-related illness. The pneumonia hospitalization freshman year. The anxiety attacks sophomore year that I downplayed to the nurse. The insomnia junior year that got bad enough I'd asked about medication. The weight loss senior year that prompted a nutritionist referral I never followed up on because I couldn't afford it. Every visit had the same note at the bottom. Patient reports high stress from work and school. Family support limited. Limited. That was the clinical term for absent. I added the records to my evidence folder. Next, therapy documentation. I'd gone to Berkeley's counseling center exactly 3 times, all during senior year. Each time I'd been put on a 6-week wait list, told to try their stress management workshops, given a photocopy about sleep hygiene. I'd never gotten actual counseling, but I'd gotten intake forms. The forms asked about family support, financial stress, and emotional well-being. I'd filled them out honestly every time. Family rarely communicates. Working 25 hours per week to cover expenses. Feel overwhelmed and alone most days. I'd forgotten about those forms. The counseling center still had them. I requested copies, added them to the folder. Then I went after the financial documentation. My student loan account showed $47,000 in principal, but with interest over 4 years, I'd actually paid $52,300. That extra $5,300 was pure interest money I'd paid to borrow money I wouldn't have needed if my parents hadn't stolen my college fund. I documented it. Spreadsheet with payment dates, interest calculations, comparative analysis. If they'd left my $43,200 in my 529 account and I'd used it for college, I would have needed only $3,800 in loans for living expenses. Instead, I'd needed $47,000. The difference was their theft. I calculated the exact amount. $43,200 principal plus $5,300 in interest I shouldn't have paid. $48,500. That's what they owed me. Minimum. I kept digging. Bank statements from my college years showed every dollar I'd earned and spent. Paycheck stubs from the library. Tutoring income. The emergency loan I'd taken junior year when my laptop died, and I couldn't afford to replace it. Every transaction told the same story. I'd been financially drowning, while they spent $250,000 on Ashley. I organized it into a timeline. A visual representation of 4 years of disparity. Freshman year financial summary. Elena's income, $8,400 library job. Elena's expenses, $14,200, room, board, books, basic living. Elena's loans taken, $5,800. Parents' contribution to Elena, $140 birthday plus Christmas. Ashley's Stanford tuition that year, $53,000. Parents' contribution to Ashley, $53,000. Plus, sophomore year financial summary. Elena's income, $9,100, library job plus tutoring. Elena's expenses, $15,800 rent increase, food, supplies. Elena's loans taken, $6,700. Parents' contribution to Elena, $125. Ashley's Stanford tuition, $54,500. Parents' contribution to Ashley, $54,500 plus. The pattern repeated, year after year, me scraping by, Ashley fully funded. I made graphs, bar charts showing the spending disparity, pie charts showing what percentage of my income went to survival versus what percentage of Ashley's life was subsidized. Line graphs showing my loan balance climbing, while Ashley's 529 account drained into her expenses. It was devastating. It was also irrefutable. Maya came over one evening while I was deep in Excel formulas. Jesus, Elena, you've built a whole case file. I'm an engineer. This is what we do. I showed her the latest spreadsheet. Look at this. If you calculate the opportunity cost of my lost 529 funds, the investment returns I would have earned if they'd left it alone, I'm actually owed closer to $60,000. You're not going to ask for $60,000. No. But I want them to see that number. I want them to understand exactly how much they took from me. Maya sat down at the table, looked at the folders and printouts and evidence I'd been accumulating. What's the end game here? She asked quietly. What do you mean? I mean, you've got enough evidence to take to Attorney Chen. You could demand settlement, maybe get your money back. But that's not what this is really about, is it? She was right. This was never just about the money. I want them exposed, I said. I want everyone who's ever dismissed my feelings to see the proof. I want Ashley to know what she cost me. I want my relatives who've always said I'm too hard on my parents to see the bank statements and realize I was right. You want public vindication. Yes. Okay. Maya pulled out her phone. Then you need more than legal documents. You need a platform. What kind of platform? She showed me her screen. Reddit. Specifically, R. Entitled Parents and R. Raised by Narcissists forums for people with toxic family stories. You post your story. With evidence. Anonymized, but with enough detail that it's clearly true. These communities are massive, hundreds of thousands of people. And when stories go viral there, they get picked up everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. You want me to post my family's financial abuse on Reddit? I want you to tell your truth in a space where you'll be believed and supported, and where it might get enough attention that your parents can't ignore it. Maya scrolled through examples. Look at this one. Daughter exposed parents for spending her college fund on a boat. 4 million views. Parents ended up having to sell the boat to settle. 4 million views. The thought terrified me. It also thrilled me. I'd have to be careful, I said slowly. Change names. Remove identifying details. I can't defame them. You're not defaming them if it's true, and you have evidence. Maya looked at me seriously. But Elena, if you do this, there's no going back. Once it's out there, it's out there. Your parents will know. Ashley will know. Your whole family will know. I thought about Attorney Chen's question. What do you really want? I wanted my money back. Yes. But more than that, I wanted my parents to face consequences. I wanted them to feel a fraction of the humiliation I'd felt standing in that empty graduation section. I wanted their friends and colleagues and church community to see who they really were. I wanted justice. How would I even start? I asked. Maya smiled. You write your story. I'll help you edit for maximum impact. We post it when you're ready, and we let the internet do what the internet does best, which is hold shitty parents accountable. I looked at my evidence folders. 4 weeks of work, hundreds of documents, irrefutable proof. I opened my laptop. Okay, I said. Let's write it. We worked until 3 a.m. The post was 4,200 words. Single-spaced, chronological, detailed, devastating. It had section headers, the setup, the pattern, the theft, the betrayal, the evidence. It had dollar amounts and dates and direct quotes from my parents' texts. It had photos of the 529 statements with identifying information blacked out, screenshots of Venmo payments, graphs showing the spending disparity. It had everything except their names. When we finished, Maya read it through one final time. This is going to detonate, she said. Good. Elena, I mean it. This is nuclear. Once you post this, your relationship with your parents is over. Maybe forever. I thought about Section A, Row 3, seats 14 and 15, empty programs in the sun. It was already over, I said. They just didn't know it yet. Maya nodded. When do you want to post? I looked at the calendar on my phone. June 23rd. Ashley's Stanford graduation was in 3 weeks. July 11th. A big ceremony for her graduate program. Mom had already posted about it, how proud they were, how they couldn't wait to celebrate their baby girl, how they'd invited the whole extended family. I smiled. July 11th, I said. I'm posting it July 11th. The day of Ashley's graduation? No. My smile widened. The day before. Maya started laughing. You evil genius. I learned from the best. I saved the document, backed it up to 3 different drives. They chose Ashley's event over mine. Let's see how Ashley's event goes when everyone knows what it cost me. We toasted with cheap wine and the kind of vindictive joy that comes from finally having power. I didn't know if this would work. I didn't know if anyone would care. But I knew one thing. I was done being silent. And I was done protecting people who'd never protected me. The invitation arrived on June 28th. A formal cardstock invitation, gold embossed lettering, the Stanford seal at the top. You are cordially invited to celebrate Ashley Marie Vasquez, Master of Arts in Education, Stanford University Graduate School of Education. Ceremony, July 11th, 2 p.m. Frost Amphitheater. Reception to follow. Mom had addressed it by hand, my name in her careful cursive, mailed it to my Berkeley apartment like we were distant relatives instead of estranged family. No note, no phone call, just the invitation. I stared at it for a full minute. Then I texted Maya. They invited me to Ashley's graduation. Her response came instantly. Are you going? I thought about it. About Section A, Row 3, Seats 14 and 15. About empty programs in the sun. About the text that had arrived at 7:14 a.m. Can't make it today. You understand. Yes, I texted back. I'm going. Maya called immediately. Elena, are you sure? I'm sure. She paused. This is bold. Even for you. They invited me. I'm accepting. You know that's not what they expect. I know. 3 days later, Maya and I sat at my kitchen table, finalizing the plan. The Reddit post was ready. 4,200 words, 23 pieces of evidence, graphs, screenshots, timeline, everything. We'd edited it 17 times, run it past Jake for legal issues, checked every fact twice. It was devastating. It was also true. We post July 10th at 8 p.m., Maya said, pulling up a calendar. That gives it 12 to 14 hours to spread before the ceremony starts at 2 p.m. on the 11th. Will that be enough time? For Reddit? Absolutely. These communities move fast. If it gets traction, and babe, it will get traction, you'll have thousands of views by morning. Maybe tens of thousands. I pulled up my burner Reddit account, created specifically for this. No identifying information. Username, scholarshipdaughter22. What if no one cares? I asked quietly. Maya looked at me like I was insane. Elena, you have receipts showing your parents stole $43,000 from your college fund and gave it to your sister while you went into debt. People will care, trust me. And if it goes viral before the ceremony? Then your extended family will see it, your parents' friends will see it, maybe even some of the graduation guests. Maya's smile was sharp. And they'll all show up to Ashley's big day with questions. The plan was simple. Phase 1. Post to Reddit on July 10th at 8 p.m. Pacific. Phase 2. Cross-post to relevant subreddits. R. Entitled parents. R. Raised by narcissists. R. Just no family. Phase 3. Let it spread organically. No pushing, no manipulation. Just truth. Phase 4. Show up to Ashley's graduation on July 11th. Observe. Say nothing unless asked directly. Phase 5. If confronted, respond with calm facts. No emotion, just evidence. What if they cause a scene? I asked. They won't. Not at Ashley's graduation. That's the genius of this timing. Maya pulled up photos from Ashley's Instagram. Your mom has been planning this for months. She's invited everyone, her church friends, dad's colleagues, extended family. She's not going to risk Ashley's big moment by confronting you publicly. But after all bets are off. But by then, it won't matter. The truth will be out. I looked at the invitation again. Gold lettering, Stanford seal, my name in Mom's handwriting. They'd invited me because it would look bad if they didn't. The older sister missing the younger sister's graduation. People would ask questions. They were counting on me to decline quietly. To stay away. To continue being the daughter who understood. What if I'm making a mistake? I asked. Maya took my hand. The only mistake you made was believing them for so long. This? She gestured to the laptop, the post, the evidence. This is you correcting that mistake. I nodded. Say it, Maya commanded. This is me correcting the mistake. Again. This is me correcting the mistake. Stronger now. One more time. This is me telling the truth. My voice didn't shake. And the truth is that they chose her over me for 4 years. They stole from me. They lied to me. They hurt me. And I'm done protecting them from the consequences. Maya smiled. There's my girl. We spent the rest of the evening preparing contingencies. Scenario 1. Post gets removed by moderators. Response. We had backup communities identified. Alternative posting locations. Scenario 2. Parents find out and threaten legal action. Response. Everything in the post was true and documented. Truth is an absolute defense against defamation. Scenario 3. Ashley contacts me directly. Response. Prepared statement emphasizing this wasn't about her, but about our parents' choices. Scenario 4. Extended family takes their side. Response. Evidence folder ready to share with anyone who asked. Scenario 5. No one cares, and the post dies in obscurity. Response. At least I tried. At least I spoke up. By midnight, we were ready. I looked at the post one final time. Read it start to finish. Every word was true. Every fact was documented. Every emotion was earned. July 10th, I said. 8 p.m. Maya raised her wine glass. To scholarship daughters everywhere. To scholarship daughters, I echoed. We drank. And I felt, for the first time in weeks, like I was taking back control. They'd written my story for 22 years. Now I was going to write my own ending. July 10th arrived with fog. Typical Bay Area summer. The marine layer thick enough you couldn't see across the street. I took it as an omen. Fog hides things, and by tonight, nothing would be hidden anymore. I worked my library shift, returned books, helped freshman parents navigate the online catalog, smiled at people who had no idea my life was about to detonate. At lunch, I checked the post one more time. Still in drafts, still waiting. Maya texted, "You good?" "I'm good." Liar. "But I love you anyway." See you then. The afternoon crawled. Every minute felt like an hour. Every hour felt like a day. At 4 p.m., my phone rang. Mom? I stared at her name on the screen. We hadn't spoken since graduation day. 6 weeks of silence. I answered. Elena! Her voice was bright, artificially cheerful. Hi, honey. I wanted to confirm you're coming tomorrow? I'm coming. Oh, wonderful. Ashley will be so happy. We're all so excited. A pause. You'll sit with the family, of course. I saved you a seat. A seat. She'd saved me a seat at Ashley's graduation. The irony was so thick I almost laughed. What time should I arrive? I asked. My voice was steady, calm. Ceremony starts at 2. Maybe get there by 1:30? We're taking photos before. I'll be there. Perfect. And Elena? Her tone shifted, softer. I know things have been difficult, but this is Ashley's day. Let's just focus on celebrating her. Okay? There it was, the request, the boundary. Don't make trouble. Don't cause drama. Be the good daughter for once. I'm just coming to watch Ashley graduate. I said truthfully. Thank you, honey. That means a lot. Relief in her voice. We'll see you tomorrow. She hung up. I sat there in the library staff room, holding my phone, and I realized she had no idea. None of them did. They thought I was coming to play nice, to fall in line, to be the understanding daughter one more time. They had no idea I'd spent 6 weeks building a case against them. They had no idea that in 4 hours, I was going to burn their reputation to the ground. I met Maya at 6 p.m. at our usual cafe. She called, I said. Your mom? Yeah. Wanted to confirm I'm coming. Asked me to focus on celebrating Ashley. Maya's laugh was sharp. The audacity. She saved me a seat. Jesus Christ. I know. We ordered coffee neither of us wanted. Sat at our corner table. The same table where I'd shown Maya the evidence 6 weeks ago. The same table where this had all started. Last chance to back out. Maya said quietly. I'm not backing out. I know, but I have to say it. She looked at me seriously. Once you hit post, everything changes. Your parents will know. Ashley will know. There's no taking it back. I don't want to take it back. Your family might never forgive you. They never valued me anyway. Extended family might take their side. Then I'll know who really cares about me. Maya smiled. Okay. Just checking. We sat there as the sun set. As the fog burned off. As the evening turned to dusk. At 7:45 p.m., we walked back to my apartment. Jennifer was there, sitting on the couch, looking nervous. I made popcorn. Is that weird? I felt like this moment needed popcorn. It was weird. It was also perfect. The three of us sat on my sagging couch with a bowl of popcorn and my laptop open on the coffee table. 7:58 p.m. The post was loaded. Title ready. My parents spent $240K on my sister's education and $600 on mine, then missed my college graduation for her move-in day. All I had to do was click submit. You ready? Maya asked. I thought about Section A, Row 3. Empty seats. Sunlight on vacant cushions. I thought about the 529 account. Account status, closed. Transfer to Ashley. I thought about 4 years of working myself to exhaustion while they funded Ashley's life. I thought about the text at 7:14 a.m. You understand. I'm ready. 7:59 p.m. Do it, Jennifer whispered. 8 p.m. I clicked submit. The post went live. For 10 seconds, nothing happened. Then the first upvote appeared. Then another. Then a comment. Holy shit, OP. I'm so sorry. Then another. This is financial abuse. Full stop. Then another. Your parents are monsters. Please tell me you're going no contact. The comments started flooding in. 5. Then 10. Then 20. The upvotes climbed. 50. 100. 250. Someone gave it an award. Then another. Then 5 more. It's spreading, Maya breathed. I watched the view counter tick up. 500 views. 800. 1,000. 200. Within 20 minutes, it had 2,000 upvotes and 300 comments. Within an hour, it had been cross-posted to 6 other subreddits. Within 2 hours, it had 15,000 upvotes and hit the front page of R, entitled Parents. Elena, Jennifer said, staring at the screen. This is going viral. She was right. By 11 p.m., it had 45,000 upvotes. The comments were in the thousands. People sharing their own stories, people tagging friends, people expressing outrage on my behalf. Someone had screenshotted it and posted it to Twitter. 8,000 retweets. Someone else had made a TikTok reading the post. 200,000 views. By midnight, my story was everywhere. And tomorrow, I was going to walk into Ashley's graduation ceremony and watch my parents realize what I'd done. I barely slept. July 11th. 1:15 p.m. I arrive at Stanford's Frost Amphitheater, wearing the same navy blue dress I wore to my own graduation. The irony is intentional. The parking lot is full, families everywhere, balloons and flowers and cameras, the same scene as my Berkeley graduation, except this time, my parents are here. I spot Mom's white BMW, Dad's Tesla, Ashley's silver Civic, the one they bought her at 16. My hands are steady on the steering wheel. The post now has 127,000 upvotes. The comments exceed 8,000. It's been shared on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Someone made it into a YouTube video that has 400,000 views. My phone has 3 missed calls. 200 plus texts. Most from numbers I don't recognize. 3 from Mom. Call me now. Elena, what did you do? We need to talk before you come today. I blocked her number at 8 a.m. I blocked Dad at 8:15. I blocked Ashley at 8:30. I'm not here to talk. I'm here to watch. I grab my purse, lock Jennifer's car. Walk toward the amphitheater. Frost Amphitheater is beautiful. Outdoor venue, built into a hillside, surrounded by eucalyptus trees. It holds 7,000 people. Today it's packed. I spot my extended family near the entrance. Aunt Teresa, Uncle Marco, Cousin Sophia, my grandmother. Aunt Teresa sees me first. Her face goes pale. She's read it. They've all read it. Elena, she says quietly, steps toward me. Is it true? Every word. The college fund? They really transferred $43,000 to Ashley. Yes. Uncle Marco is staring. The Venmo receipts? The 240,000? All documented. I can show you the bank statements if you want. My grandmother looks like she might cry. Mija, why didn't you tell us? Would you have believed me without proof? Silence. That's what I thought. Where are they? I ask. Inside, Aunt Teresa says. Front section. They've been on their phones all morning. Elena, they're angry. Good. I walk past them, through the amphitheater entrance, down the aisle. The ceremony hasn't started yet. People are still arriving, finding seats, taking photos. I spot my parents immediately. Front section. Third row. Center seats. The best seats in the house. Of course. Mom sees me first. She stands so fast she nearly drops her phone. Dad turns. His face is red, furious. They start toward me. We meet in the aisle, 20 feet from their seats, 50 people within earshot. What did you do? Mom hisses. She's trying to keep her voice down, trying not to cause a scene. I told the truth. You posted our private family business on the internet. You made it my business when you stole my college fund. Dad steps forward. Elena, this is not the time or place. Really? I look at him directly. Because Ashley's graduation seemed like the perfect time and place for you. Remember mine? When you chose her move-in day instead? His jaw clenches. That's not fair. You're right. It's not fair. Nothing about the last 4 years has been fair. People are staring now, turning in their seats, phones coming out. Mom grabs my arm. Please, Ashley doesn't know yet. Don't ruin this for her. I look at her hand on my arm. You ruined my graduation. I'm just here to watch. You're here to humiliate us, Dad says. That post, everyone we know has seen it. My partners, Susan's clients, the church. Good. Then they know the truth. The truth? Mom's voice rises. The truth is we gave you everything. We raised you. We paid for your food and your clothes and your home for 18 years. And you gave Ashley $250,000 for college while I went into debt. You had scholarships. Because I had to. My voice is loud now. I don't care. I had scholarships because you gave me no choice. You closed my college fund when I was 17 and gave it to Ashley. Did you think I wouldn't find out? Silence. Mom's face drains of color. Dad looks away. You knew, I say quietly. You knew exactly what you were doing. It was our money, Dad says. We can spend it however we want. It was my money, my beneficiary account. You spent 18 years telling me it was for me. Then you gave it to her. We gave it to the daughter who needed it, Mom says. Her voice is cold now. Ashley doesn't have your advantages. She's not as academically gifted. She needed more support. There it is. The truth she's never said out loud. Ashley needed it more. Ashley deserved it more. I was supposed to be fine on my own. So I get punished for being capable? I ask. I work harder, so I deserve less? That's not what I said. It's exactly what you said, and it's what you did. For 4 years. A small crowd has gathered now. Graduation guests watching our family implode. Phones definitely recording. Good. Let them record. Let them see. Ashley appears at the edge of my vision. She's in her graduation gown, hood draped over her arm, looking panicked. Mom? Dad? What's going on? Mom turns to her. Nothing, baby. Just a family misunderstanding. It's not a misunderstanding, I say. I look at Ashley. Really look at her. Did you know they gave you my college fund? Ashley's face goes white. What? The 529 account. They saved it for me for 17 years. Then they closed it and transferred $43,000 to you. Did you know? I know. I didn't. Did you know I took $47,000 in loans while they paid all your tuition? Elena, did you know they missed my Berkeley graduation to help you move into grad housing? Tears on her face now. I didn't ask them to come, they just showed up. Because you matter more. That's not true. Ashley, They spent $240,000 on you and $600 on me. It's documented. It's public. It's true. She looks at our parents. Is that true? Mom's expression is desperate. Ashley, it's more complicated than is it true? Dad sighs. We supported you both differently based on your different needs. Differently? I laugh. It sounds broken. You gave her everything and told me to understand. The crowd is huge now. At least 100 people watching. The ceremony should be starting, but the graduates are all staring at us. The faculty is staring. Everyone is staring. Mom realizes it. Her face goes from anger to horror. Please, she whispers. Elena, please. Not here. Not now. You picked here and now, I say. When you invited me, knowing what you'd done. When you asked me to celebrate Ashley after refusing to celebrate me. You chose this moment. We're your parents, Dad says. His voice is low, threatening. You owe us respect. I owed you nothing. You're the parents. You owed me. I step back. But you spent that debt on Ashley instead. I turn to leave. Mom calls after me. Where are you going? To my seat. You invited me, remember? I'm here to watch Ashley graduate. You can't just watch me. I walk away. Find a seat in the back section, far from them, close to the exit. Aunt Teresa slides into the seat next to me. You okay? No. But I will be. The ceremony starts 15 minutes late. Everyone is whispering. Phones are still out. Someone definitely recorded the confrontation. By tonight, it'll be online. Ashley walks across the stage to accept her diploma. The applause is polite but scattered. Everyone's distracted. Everyone's looking at our family. Mom and Dad are sitting rigid in their front row seats, not smiling, not celebrating. Just sitting. Ashley takes her diploma, looks into the crowd, sees our parents' frozen faces, sees me in the back section. She doesn't smile. The ceremony ends. Families swarm the exits. I leave before anyone can stop me. In the parking lot, my phone is exploding. The confrontation is already online. 6 different recordings from 6 different angles. The post now has 250,000 upvotes. Number scholarship daughter is trending on Twitter. And my parents' carefully constructed image is burning to the ground. I sit in Jennifer's car and I don't cry. I don't feel triumph. I just feel empty. But it's a clean empty. The kind that comes after you've finally told the truth. I drive away from Stanford. Away from Ashley's graduation. Away from my parents. And for the first time in 4 years, I don't feel guilty about it. I didn't watch the videos. Maya did. Jennifer did. Half the internet did. By midnight on July 11th, 6 recordings of the confrontation had been posted across 4 platforms: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Combined views exceeded 2 million. The comments were brutal. For my parents, the mother saying Ashley needed it more is insane. Imagine stealing $43K from one daughter and acting like the victim. The dad threatening her to show respect after what they did? Narcissist behavior. That empty seat at Berkeley hits different now. My phone didn't stop. 400 plus missed calls by morning. Messages from relatives I hadn't spoken to in years. Friend requests from strangers. Interview requests from 3 podcasts and a local news station. Mom called from 5 different numbers. I blocked them all. Dad sent an email at 3 a.m. What you did was unforgivable. You've destroyed this family. We will be pursuing legal action for defamation. I forwarded it to Attorney Chen with the subject line, "They're threatening to sue." Her response came at 8 a.m. Let them try. Discovery will be delightful. Everything you posted is documented truth. They have no case. However, if you'd like to pursue your case against them, call me Monday. Ashley texted once, at 6 a.m. I didn't know about the college fund. I swear I didn't know. I'm so sorry, Elena. I believed her. I didn't respond. By Sunday evening, the original Reddit post had 380,000 upvotes. It had been covered by 3 online news outlets. Someone had made a documentary-style YouTube video analyzing the financial abuse that had 600,000 views. Number, scholarship daughter was still trending. And my parents' friends were calling them for explanations. Maya brought me food I didn't eat and sat with me while I stared at my laptop screen, watching my story spread across the internet like wildfire. "How are you feeling?" she asked. "I don't know." "Regret?" "No." "Guilt?" "No." "Then what?" I thought about it. Empty, but in a good way. Like I've been carrying something heavy for years and I finally put it down. Maya squeezed my hand. "That's healing, babe." Maybe it was. Attorney Chen called me on Monday, July 15th. "Your parents' attorney contacted me," she said without preamble. "Richard Morrison, from their firm. He's threatening a defamation suit." My stomach dropped. Can they win? No. But they can make your life difficult for 6 months while it gets dismissed, so I have a counter-proposal. I heard papers shuffling. We file first. Civil suit for intentional infliction of emotional distress and unjust enrichment. We demand the $43,000 from your 529 account, plus the $5,000 in loan interest you accrued because of their theft, plus emotional distress damages. Total demand, $65,000. Will that work? I think they'll settle within 3 months. They can't afford discovery. Not with the internet watching. Her voice was sharp with satisfaction. The viral post was the best thing you could have done, legally speaking. It established public record of the abuse. Now they either settle or face cross-examination about every dollar they spent on Ashley while you struggled. How much will it cost me? $5,000 retainer. But Elena, I'm willing to take this contingency if needed. 30% of whatever we recover. Because frankly, I want to destroy them in court. I laughed. It felt good. Let's do it. We filed on July 20th. Superior Court of California, County of Santa Clara. Elena Marie Vasquez v. Richard and Susan Vasquez. Civil action for intentional infliction of emotional distress, unjust enrichment, and breach of fiduciary duty. Demand. $65,000 in damages. My parents had 10 days to respond. They responded in 6. Through their attorney, Richard Morrison, who I later learned was Dad's colleague and clearly uncomfortable representing this case. Their response denied all claims, asserted parental discretion over family finances, and filed a motion to dismiss. The motion was denied. Judge Rebecca Torres reviewed the evidence package, all 47 pages that Attorney Chen had submitted, and issued a preliminary ruling. The evidence presented establishes a prima facie case of systematic financial favoritism that may constitute emotional abuse. This case will proceed to discovery. Discovery. That meant depositions, bank records, financial disclosures. Everything would be examined under oath. My parents panicked. I know because Aunt Teresa called me. We'd been talking regularly since Stanford. She'd been the first family member to publicly support me, posting on Facebook that she believed me and was horrified by what my parents had done. "Your mother called me crying," Aunt Teresa said. "She said you're trying to destroy them." "I'm trying to get back what they stole." She said the lawsuit is going to bankrupt them. They spent $240,000 on Ashley. They have the money. Your father's partnership vote got delayed again. Apparently the firm is concerned about the optics of a partner being sued by his own daughter for financial abuse. Good, I thought, but didn't say. And your mother lost 3 clients last week. All of them cited the viral post. Also good. Elena, I'm not saying this to make you feel guilty, Aunt Teresa clarified quickly. I'm saying this to tell you it's working. They're facing consequences. Real ones. The consequences mounted through August and September. Dad's law firm asked him to take a leave of absence. Unpaid. The official reason was personal matters requiring attention. The real reason was that clients were uncomfortable being represented by someone accused of stealing from his own daughter. Mom's real estate business collapsed. She'd built her reputation on being a family-focused agent who understood parents' needs. That brand was dead. Her website reviews filled with comments like, "How can she help families when she destroyed her own?" Their church asked them to step down from the finance committee. Too controversial. Too much scandal. My grandmother stopped speaking to them. She called me in tears. "I'm so sorry, Mija. If I'd known, I would have helped you. I would have said something." Uncle Marco and his family cut contact entirely. "What they did is unforgivable," he told me. "You're my niece. They chose money over you. I choose you over them." Cousin Sophia invited me to her wedding. My parents were uninvited. The family fractured cleanly. Team Elena, Aunt Teresa, Uncle Marco's family, Cousin Sophia, my maternal grandfather, and 4 other relatives who reached out to apologize for not seeing it sooner. Team parents, my paternal grandmother, who was in denial, Ashley, complicated, and 2 distant cousins who believed in respecting your parents no matter what. Switzerland. About 8 relatives who wanted nothing to do with the drama and stopped attending family events entirely. The mediation happened in late September. Court ordered. Both parties, both attorneys, 1 mediator. We sat in a conference room in San Jose for 6 hours, while the mediator tried to find middle ground. There wasn't any. My parents maintained they'd done nothing wrong. "We supported both daughters according to their needs," Dad said stiffly. "Elena was more independent. Ashley required more help." "You stole Elena's college fund," Attorney Chen said flatly. "That's not differentiated support. That's theft. It was our account to manage, with her as the designated beneficiary for 17 years. You took money saved for her and gave it to her sister, while she went into debt." Mom started crying. The calculated kind of tears designed to make me feel guilty. They didn't work. "We were going to help Elena after Ashley finished school," she said. "We were going to pay off her loans. She just didn't give us time." "She gave you 4 years," Attorney Chen replied. 4 years of asking for help while you funded Ashley's lifestyle. The Venmo receipts prove it." The mediator tried. "Is there a settlement amount that would satisfy both parties?" $65,000, I said. "The amount they stole plus damages." "We don't have $65,000 in liquid assets right now," Dad said. Which was a lie. Their bank statements, now part of Discovery, showed $140,000 in savings. "Then liquidate some of Ashley's 529 account," Attorney Chen suggested pleasantly. "There's still $112,000 in there." Mom's face went pale. "That's for Ashley's future. And the $43,000 you took was for Elena's present." We didn't settle that day. But 2 weeks later, their attorney called with an offer. $52,000. Paid over 2 years. $2,000 per month for 26 months. "They're trying to lowball you," Attorney Chen said. "We can push for the full amount." I thought about it. About dragging this out for another 6 months. About depositions and court dates, and reliving the trauma over and over. "Take it," I said. "I want this over." "You're entitled to more." "I know, but I'm tired, and 52,000 gets me out of debt and away from them. That's worth more than the extra 13,000. She pushed for one addition, a written apology, signed by both parents, admitting what they'd done. They refused, so we settled without it. The judgment was entered October 30th. Richard and Susan Vasquez to pay Elena Marie Vasquez $52,000 in 26 monthly installments of $2,000, beginning November 1st. No admission of guilt, no apology, just money. I cried when I signed the papers. Not from sadness, from relief. It was over. The legal battle was over. The relationship was over. And I was free. Ashley reached out in November. We met for coffee at a neutral location, a Starbucks halfway between Berkeley and Palo Alto. She looked terrible. Thinner than I'd ever seen her. dark circles under her eyes. I dropped out of Stanford, she said before I could even sit down. What? After graduation. After everything. I couldn't, everyone knew. Everyone saw the videos. My professors, my cohort, everyone. She was crying. I couldn't go back. I didn't know what to say. I've been in therapy 3 times a week, she continued, trying to understand how I didn't see it, how I took all that money and never questioned why you weren't getting the same. You were a kid, I said quietly. They were the adults. I was old enough to notice you were struggling, old enough to see you working constantly while I had everything paid for. She looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. I'm so sorry, Elena. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I'm so fucking sorry. I believed her. We talked for 2 hours. She told me she'd confronted our parents after the lawsuit settled, demanded to know why they'd favored her so completely. They'd said the same thing. She needed it more. It made me realize they didn't do me any favors, Ashley said. They turned me into someone who couldn't function without them. I don't know how to budget. I don't know how to handle money. I've never had to work for anything. You got the better deal, honestly. You learned how to survive. I learned how to depend. That's not your fault. Maybe not, but it's my problem now. She pulled out her phone, showed me a Venmo transfer, $3,000 to my account. It's not enough. It's not even close to enough, but it's what I have right now. I got a job. Retail. I'm saving. I'm going to pay you back. As much as I can. I stared at the transfer. Ashley, you don't have to. Yes, I do. You're my sister. They stole from you to give to me. That makes me responsible too. She was crying again. I want to fix this. I want us to be okay, but I understand if you can't forgive me. I thought about it. About 4 years of resentment. About the college fund and the graduation and the lifetime of coming second. I don't forgive you yet, I said honestly, but I don't hate you either. And maybe that's a start. She nodded. That's more than I deserve. We left it there. Tentative. Uncertain. But not completely broken. I haven't spoken to my parents since the settlement. They've tried. Emails that I delete unread. Voicemails I don't listen to. A handwritten letter that arrived at Christmas that I returned unopened. I don't know if I'll ever speak to them again. Right now, I don't want to. Right now, I'm okay with that. It's been 3 years since Stanford. 3 years since the confrontation. 3 years since the post went viral. 3 years since I sued my parents and won. I'm 25 now, living in San Francisco in a studio apartment I pay for myself. Small but mine. The walls are covered with things I chose, art prints from local artists, photos with Maya and Jennifer, my Berkeley diploma in a frame that cost more than it should have but made me happy. The financial recovery happened faster than I expected. The settlement payments came like clockwork, $2,000 on the first of every month for 26 months. I put every cent toward my student loans. By month 18, I'd paid off the entire $47,000. Zero debt. For the first time since I was 18, I didn't owe anyone anything. I celebrated by opening a savings account, then a retirement account, then an investment account. I was obsessive about it, tracking every dollar, maximizing every contribution, building the safety net my parents never gave me. 3 years later, my financial situation looks like this. Student loans, $0. Credit score, 758 up from 680. Emergency fund, $18,000. Retirement account, $12,500. Investment portfolio, $6,000. It's not rich, but it's stable. It's mine. And it's more than I ever thought I'd have. My career took off in ways I didn't anticipate. The viral post led to interview requests. I turned down most of them, but I said yes to one. A podcast about first-generation college students navigating family expectations. The episode got 200,000 downloads. A tech recruiter heard it and reached out. "We're looking for engineers who understand resilience," she said. "Someone who can problem solve under pressure. Your story suggests you can do both." I interviewed, got the offer, senior software engineer at a startup focused on educational equity. The irony wasn't lost on me. Starting salary, $127,000. I accepted. 2 years in, I led the team that built an algorithm matching low-income students with emergency financial aid. We won the company's Innovation Award. I gave a presentation at the all-hands meeting. 200 employees stood and applauded. I thought about my parents watching me walk across Berkeley's stage alone. I thought about how they'd missed that moment. And I realized I didn't need them to witness my success for it to be real. The relationships I've rebuilt matter more than the ones I've lost. Maya is my best friend, my emergency contact, my sister in every way that matters. She's in grad school now, studying social work, planning to specialize in family trauma. "You inspired me," she told me. "If you can survive that and thrive, maybe I can help other people do the same." Jennifer and I stayed close even after she moved to Seattle. We video chat every Sunday. She's getting married next year. I'm a bridesmaid. Aunt Teresa and I have dinner once a month. She apologized 100 times for not seeing it sooner, for not intervening. I've forgiven her. She didn't know what to look for. None of them did. I started a scholarship fund. Small, just $5,000 per year for first-generation UC Berkeley engineering students who demonstrate financial need. The application asks one question: describe a time you succeeded without family support. I read every application myself. I cry over most of them. This year, I funded 2 students. Next year, I'm hoping for 3. It's not enough to fix the system, but it's something. It's my something. I'm dating someone, Marcus. I met him at a friend's birthday party. He's a high school teacher, patient and kind and completely uninterested in tech money. On our 3rd date, I told him about my parents. All of it. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he said, "That explains why you're so careful about money. Is that a problem?" "No. It's impressive. You built yourself from nothing. That's rare." I cried. He held me. "We've been together for 8 months. He's met Maya and Jennifer. He hasn't met my parents. He probably never will. I'm okay with that. Ashley and I talk every few months. She's in therapy still, working as a teacher's aide, making $42,000 a year. She paid me back another $4,000 over the 3 years. I told her to stop, that I didn't need it, but she insisted. "Let me do this," she said. "Let me prove I'm not them. We're not close. We might never be close, but we're civil, we're honest. And we're both trying." That's more than I thought we'd have. My parents sent a Christmas card last year. The first communication I didn't immediately delete. I don't know why I opened it. The card was generic. "Thinking of you during the holidays. We hope you're well. Love. Mom and Dad." No apology, no acknowledgement, just love from people who'd proven they didn't know what that word meant. I threw it away, but I didn't cry. That felt like progress. I don't know if I'll ever forgive them. Some wounds are too deep for forgiveness. Some betrayals are too calculated to excuse. What they did wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. 4 years of deliberate choices that put Ashley first and me nowhere. They chose her over me at my graduation. But I choose me now. Every day, I choose me. I choose my apartment and my career and my savings account. I choose Maya and Jennifer and Aunt Teresa. I choose therapy and boundaries, and the family I've built from friends who showed up when blood relatives didn't. I choose to celebrate my achievements without needing their validation. I choose to believe I'm worth more than $600. Looking back now, I understand something I couldn't see at 22. My parents didn't make me stronger. They made me desperate. Desperation made me resilient. And resilience made me stronger. But I paid for that strength with years of exhaustion and loneliness and feeling like I was never enough. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. That's why I started the scholarship fund. That's why I say yes when first-gen students ask for coffee to talk about navigating family expectations. That's why I share my story when it might help someone else feel less alone. Because if there's one thing I learned from my parents, it's this: you can survive without support. You can succeed despite neglect. You can build a life from nothing, but you shouldn't have to. Every kid deserves parents who show up, who celebrate them, who split resources fairly even when it's hard. I deserved that. I didn't get it. But I became the person I needed when I was 22. And maybe that's the only revenge that matters. I'm sitting at my desk right now. Two monitors displaying code. Coffee mug that reads self-made that Maya gave me for my birthday. Photo frame on my desk, not my parents Maya, Jennifer, Marcus, Aunt Teresa, and me at dinner last month. All of us laughing. There's a scholarship check on my desk too. $5,000 for a Berkeley freshman named Maria who wrote in her application, "I worked 40 hours a week my senior year while my parents paid for my brother's private school." I learned that family doesn't always mean support, but support can become family. I'm mailing it tomorrow. Next to it is my Berkeley diploma, the one I earned alone, the one my parents missed seeing me receive. I look at it sometimes and remember Section A, Row 3, Seats 14 and 15, empty programs in the sun. I remember the text at 7:14 a.m. You understand. And I think, I understand now. I understand that their absence was the last gift they ever gave me, because it taught me I didn't need them. I understand that the $240,000 they spent on Ashley bought her dependence. The $600 they spent on me bought me freedom. I understand that I became someone extraordinary not because of them, but despite them. And I understand that the best revenge isn't making them suffer. It's building a life so full and successful and joyful that their approval becomes irrelevant. I did that. I'm doing that. And I'm not done yet. To every scholarship daughter, every scapegoat child, every person who's been told to understand while being given nothing, you're not too sensitive, you're not ungrateful, you're not wrong. Document everything. Find your people, build your case, tell your truth. And when they try to make you feel guilty for setting boundaries, remember, you don't owe loyalty to people who chose someone else over you. You owe yourself better. I gave myself better. You can too. If this story resonated with you, you're not alone. Family financial abuse is more common than people realize. It's hidden behind closed doors, justified with phrases like different needs and parental discretion, and dismissed as normal sibling rivalry. It's not normal, and it's not your fault. If you're living this story right now, document everything, reach out to people you trust, and know that choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. If you've survived this story, I see you. Your resilience matters, your success matters, and your truth matters. Thank you for listening to Elena's story. Thank you for believing survivors of family financial abuse. And thank you for being here. This is Achiever Betrayed. We tell the stories of people who succeeded despite their families, not because of them. If you have a story, you're not alone. And if you need to hear one, we'll be here. Until next time, choose yourself, set boundaries, build the life they said you couldn't have, and prove them wrong. This is Achiever Betrayed.